Christ is risen, hallelujah.
He is risen indeed, hallelujah.
Even better. Quick homily for the younger folk. I saw this great meme this morning on my Facebook. It's the cool Jesus going, YOLO. And then there's another picture underneath of him risen from the dead. It says, just kidding. YOLO means you only live once, in case you wanted that joke. Christ is risen, hallelujah.
He is risen indeed, hallelujah.
There's a story. There's a man who was traveling home from work one day, and he turned on the radio and he heard some news about a little village in India. And in this village there were a number of deaths, strange, sudden deaths. Didn't quite understand. Didn't really think much of it. 2 days later, though, in the morning when he turned on the news, there was news of about 30,000 deaths in India. There was this mysterious flu going around. Entire villages were wiped out. But again, it was further away. The next day when he woke up and he turned on the news, however, he found out that this mysterious flu, it moved from India to China, to the Middle East, and to Northern Africa. It was affecting millions of people. And there was no cure, they didn't even understand what it was. As that evening on the news, he had found out that the French president, he actually closed down the borders. So we can't allow anyone in. We got to contain this mysterious flu. The next morning he woke up, though, he saw a French reporter in tears. Her husband was in the hospital dying of this mysterious flu in Paris. It had gotten into Europe. They figured it out that the flu, once one is infected, 7 days go by before any symptoms appear. Then 4 days of really horrible symptoms and then death. So that evening, the President of the United States gets on the TV. And he says, all right, no one's allowed into this country. We've got to contain this. I'm sorry if your loved ones are away, but we cannot allow anyone back into this country. So Americans spend a couple days just in nervous anxiety. What's going to happen? Is this flu going to get here? Is it not? And then the news breaks one evening. 2 men dying in a hospital in New York City of this mysterious flu. The next morning when this guy wakes up, he finds out that it's not just New York, but it's all the way in California, Washington, Texas, and Pennsylvania. So for a couple days, they frantically search, trying to find a cure for this bizarre flu that's going around. And finally, the news breaks. There's a cure. All we need is the right kind of blood to make this vaccine. And so everyone is ordered to go to the hospital, have their blood tested. And so this man, he's a single father, he and his son, they're called to the hospital. It's a Friday afternoon. This man, this son, they get their blood tested, and then they're asked just to wait out in the parking lot for the name to be called. So they wait there, and there's thousands waiting with them, and they're not calling anybody's name. They're talking, they're figuring out what is going on. Is this the end of the world? Is this God's judgment? What's happening here? Finally, they see in the distance a man in the white coat. He's got a clipboard and he's coming. He's running out and he's screaming. He's very excited. He's screaming someone's name, but we can't quite figure out what he's yelling at. Finally, he keeps yelling. He's running right towards this man, and he's yelling. As he gets closer, he feels his son tug on his shirt. The son looks up and says, Daddy, he's calling my name. Why is he calling my name? So the man with these doctors and nurses, they run up and they grab this kid. And they start rushing away, and the father's like, wait, this is my son. This is my son. Where are you taking him? And they say, well, he's got the right blood. We just need to just test him real quickly, make sure he's not infected, so we can make this vaccine. So they're all right. So they go, they test the kid, and the doctor comes out with this huge smile. We found it. We found the right blood. People are erupting cheers. Thousands are yelling and screaming. They're laughing for the first time in a week. Then he goes up to the father. He's like, we didn't know it would be a minor. We need you to sign this consent form. So the father takes the consent form and begins to sign his name, but then he looks down and he sees where it says pints of blood, the box is left empty. The father asks the doctor, how many pints are you going to take? And the doctor says, well, we didn't know it was going to be a child. The father says, how many pints are you going to take? The doctor responds, we need it all. We need it all. And the father said, well, this is my only son. It's my beloved son. Can't you do a transfusion or something? The doctor's like, we would if we could, but we don't have the blood for it. And then the doctor grabs him and he's like, this is for the whole world. This is for the life of the world. Sign the form. Give your consent. What would you do? So the father signs this consent form. The doctor says, you want to take a minute or so with your son. So he goes in, gives his son a hug. Son says, I'm scared. What's going on, Dad? What's going on? His father just gives him a big hug, and after about a minute or so, the doctor's coming. He's like, all right, we need to go. We need to go. So as the father's leaving, the last words he hears is, Dad, why are you abandoning me? Within the 3 days, the whole world has been cured. They've been given back their life. This imminent death has been overcome. So they decided to throw a huge commemoration for this son who gave his blood so that everyone could live. So the commemoration comes, and believe it or not, there are those who come with great joy, great rejoicing at the gift they've received of new life. There are others who slept in. There's some who got back into their sports and were too busy to come. There are others who showed up but said, oh, this is kind of boring. And they left early. But finally the father stands up in tears. He says, don't you know what my son did for you? You have life today because of him. That he gave you his blood so that you could live. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? In a few short minutes, I'll leave you with this thought. In a few short minutes, we'll renew our baptismal promises. Our baptismal promises when we promise to reject sin and Satan and to serve God and his holy church. And to each promise we respond, I do. I do. It's been said the shortest sentence in the English language is I am. The longest sentence is I do. To say I am a Christian, I am a Catholic, doesn't mean a hill of beans unless I do Christianity. It's I do this faith, this love, this. And so I encourage you, when we renew our baptismal promises today, to make that I do with all your heart, all your strength. I do intend to do this Christianity thing, to worship the living God, to receive him in the sacraments, to meet him in the word, to daily prayer, daily meditation, to adoration, to the devotions, to serving him in the poor and the needy and the hungry, the sick. I do Christianity, not just I am a Christian. And I promise you, if you live according to that promise, that I do, you, like those apostles, will meet the risen Lord and will walk away amazed.